Well, hello. So today we're going to speak about the dangerous elements to ghosting. Now, what is ghosting, you may say? Ghosting is when you try to communicate with a person and the person does not communicate back to you. So the person remains a ghost. They go on in their social media status, but they don't care about you as an individual to communicate with you. Now, it could happen through the social media world. It could also happen through the various different elements of society. I'm moving my candle. Um, through the various different elements of society. It could happen through phone calls where you call someone and they don't call you back. It could happen for various different reasons, whether justified or unjustified. I'm going to give you some examples of elements that have happened to me, and then you can make your judgment call and let me know what the situation is. So I had a friend, a very close, very dear friend. And I got this friend a job. I introduced this friend into a whole new world. So, this whole new world and this person learned so much from this new world, and it was just amazing, and it helped them grow in various different elements. And there came a time where I had chaos with someone within that world. And that chaos and I tried to deal with the situation. I communicated it to the higher ups. I communicated it to the various different elements within that world, the people that were in charge, and nobody seemed to deal with it, and the problem seemed to get worse. So eventually I blew up. I basically, the pressure, the intensity, the whole situation, and I actually went and tried to speak to a lawyer about the whole situation. The lawyer told me that I did not have a case because I could go somewhere else and learn the particular elements that I was learning from that world. But the lawyer told me that the person, that my friend, my very, very dear friend, because of the way they were treated, that they definitely had a case. So and I knew this. I knew this in my mind to a certain degree. I thought that maybe I had a case against the situation from a moral standpoint, but it seems I didn't. So, and it was fine. But the way the family members of this very, very dear friend were treated were very much a catalyst towards me seeking legal action, because this was a child, and the way this child was treated with the knowledge that this person had about them was just, it was just a horrible situation. It was a horrible reaction from the head of this particular world against a child in this situation with the information that they knew about the person, my dear friend, and their choices about the safety of their child. So that, to me, it really struck home. So that's why I sought out legal action and whatnot, and the outcome came out. So, but what happened was that my dear friend became upset at me. Now, my dear friend had a situation where something was revealed about the way the workings were going on within that world. And people were upset. They were like, I can't believe that this, you're having to do this and that and this and this. So there was a certain level of anger within the world themselves, which led, but the question still, it's very vague. It's all very vague because I only know one side of the story, because my dear friend decided to ghost me because they became upset that they had lost their job or their standing in that world. The world that I had introduced them to, they had lost their standing in that world because of her relation to me, because the chaos that I was a part of, the way she was treated, because the chaos I was a part of, because I'm the one that brought her into the world. So she was upset at me that she was dejected from that world. And she went on to enter into a whole new world that really allows her to grow as a whole different human being and a whole different side, which I bless her for, and all the kudos to her. But what's really painful is that this person had no desire to communicate with me. Now, this person knows about my relationship with my father. My relationship with my father has been that, when I was young, when I was first born, he rejected me. And then he's got Gemini stuff. That's all whatever. When it was first born, he rejected me. When he almost died, he accepted me. And then when I left the country, he rejected me. When I almost died, he accepted me. And then consecutively, he rejected me. So it became this Pavlovian dog trick where it was just like, hello, I love you. Goodbye. I'm not even talking to you. I'm not even acknowledging that I'm leaving. I'm just going to leave. And so that painful element, that really visceral. So when someone does that to me, now there's various different levels. People have been doing this to me for a while. Because I'm a unique individual. I think sometimes people don't know how to deal with me, you know what I mean? So, so there's various different people that have done it in various different means. And when you feel stuck, when you ghost, when you say no, when you cut the conversation, it's like, I have to weigh myself and say, where am I in regards to my emotional state, my psychological state, and what am I trying to reveal in the whole situation, and what is the value of the person? Ultimately, what's the value of the person? And as a student of spirituality, I have to grow. I also have to grow in the situation. So I give the person space. I also acknowledge the importance of me, that I cannot be treated in this way, that I should not be treated in this way, that person needs to learn that they should not be treating other people in that way. So I separate myself from the situation. I say, you don't want to speak to me, and you can have consecutively place that element, then I'm separating myself from you, and I do not want to hear from you, because that's the painful element. And I almost perhaps, some people say, that's a little petty. And it's just like, no, well, I go even further. I'm like, let's count the days. For as many days as you stayed away, I'm going to stay away too. Because I believe in lifetime and eternity, and I don't even care. So, do I go that far? No. Because light needs to be revealed, and we need to arrive at mercy, and ultimately people make mistakes, and that's all good and dandy. So ghosting. When something is happening, and the reaction of the individual is not to deal with it. I'm completely opposite. If there's something happening, I deal with it. I say, we're dealing with it right now, and we're straightening it out, and we're moving forward. Because if we're not growing. And every moment that we're not growing, I'm getting angrier that we're not growing, and I'm getting angrier of the lack of value upon myself and the communication that we're having. So, yeah, I think that's what happens. Of course, the various elements of desire, communication, let's say, a celebrity ghosts you, you know what I mean? Then you might be a little delusional, if you're thinking it's like, J-Lo, why haven't you answered me? I put the party together and I sent you 500 emails, and it's, why haven't you responded? I do follow you, and I noticed you liked one of my comments. No, that's not how that works. So what do you think? What do you think about ghosting? Do you agree? Do you disagree with ghosting? Let me know in the comment section down below, and I want to wish you all a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful eternity.